sent from above, grown with care and love. Blessings sent from above, grown with care and love.
Hey y'all, what's up? Welcome back to Growing with Donnie. Welcome to my indoor garden space. I'm so glad that you're here. So today's video is all about setting our goals and our intentions for our 2022 gardening year. So last year I would say that I was pretty successful in my small space garden. For those of you who are unfamiliar, I am a small space grower. I live in an apartment and I have a growing space indoors here, complete with some hydroponic systems, and I also grow on my small balcony. Last year, I really feel that I was pretty successful in my gardening ventures, but there was definitely room for improvement. I was able to grow a lot, including some fruiting plants like strawberries, peas, peppers, and tomatoes. I bet I'm forgetting something, but those are the first ones that come to mind, right? I had several herbs. I also had some leafy greens like mustard greens and Portuguese kale and collards. Those were some of my favorites that I grew that I had not grown the year previous. And I grew some beets and turnips. Though they did not bulb up, I still really enjoy the greens from those plants. Turnip greens and beet greens are delicious. So I love them, and I was appreciative to get that at least. So yeah, I feel that last year was overall pretty successful, but like I said, it could definitely have been better. So what I want to do is share with you guys some of my goals for the upcoming year and what that looks like. So my first goal is to have properly overwintered some of my plants. Gonna be honest, I don't know how successful that's gonna be because I did not get my hands on mulch or wood chips or anything like that this year. I kind of wanted to just see how it goes. And I also did not cover my plants. And then we got snow a lot earlier than we normally do. So I'm in the Seattle area, and it doesn't snow a lot here, but it's just enough to take your plant out if it really wants to do that. So ones that I was hoping would be okay outside so that I didn't have to drag them inside and bring potential pests indoors to what I have growing in here are my habanero pepper, but I did successfully get a cutting of that. So there's that. But my habanero plant, my fish pepper, my Anaheim, so those are all pepper plants. And I also am trying to overwinter lamb's ear. Anyway, a few other things. So hopefully I will have a little bit of a jump start starting this spring for my garden. That was one of my goals, just so that you don't have to start from seed and just see how it goes, or invest more money in another plant start. So we'll see how it goes. I am more than likely still going to start some backup seeds just in case, because I do feel that the snow probably damaged some of my plants. So anywho, moving on. Another one of my goals is to add more flowers and perennials to my garden. So last year, I'm not gonna lie, y'all, I started gardening because I wanted to grow my own food. especially with everything going on in the world right now. I hate when people say it like that, but with everything going on right now, I felt it important to start growing my own food. My main mission has always been growing things that are edible. Now, there are flowers that are edible that you can totally eat, like nasturtiums are edible. There are flowers with medicinal uses, such as echinacea. So there are ways to use flowers for consumption, as well as being able to use them for beauty in your garden or even pest relief or repellent, right? So my goal is to grow more flowers, not only for medicinal use, to eat them, or to repel pests such as like aphids from my garden, but also to attract pollinators and to add color and beauty to my garden. I got so excited when the flowers started to bloom on my plants last year, and I had pops of yellow and orange and blue, and it was just so beautiful. And I was like, I was hating. I need to grow more flowers. I have to grow more flowers next year. So, and I also was sewing them really thin. I think they could have been much fuller in the individual pots that I was growing them in, or the little corners of my containers, things like that. So I'm definitely going to be growing more flowers. And I also mentioned perennials. I want to grow more or add a few more perennials to my garden. So some of the ones that I have currently in my garden are rosemary, lavender, echinacea, strawberries, hyssop, lamb's ear, and mint. Did I say strawberries? Strawberries and mint. So that's probably not all of them, but those are the ones I can think of off the top of my head, right? And I'm really excited to have those. I love cooking with rosemary. I love the smell of lavender. Um, Rosemary and mint together are great for your hair in an infused oil. So delicious food, things that you can use on your head. It's like in your scalp, your skin. It smells amazing, both of them. So excited about those. Echinacea is also a medicinal plant, and it's a beautiful flower, and it attracts pollinators to your garden for any other fruiting vegetables that you may need a little help from a buzzy friend to pollinate. And what else? Strawberries obviously are delicious. Lamb's ear has medicinal uses. Hyssop has medicinal uses. Mint is delicious, also medicinal. So I'm really excited for the perennials that I do have. Don't ask me what perennials I'm looking to add, but I want to have a garden that's a little bit more laid back and less heavy on the planting annually every year. So I will more than likely be adding a few more perennials to my garden this year. Last year, something that I wish I had done a better job of is succession planting. So making sure that I not only plant what I want to have in my garden, but I plant it in stages and phases so that, once this plant starts to fizzle out, I have one that I started from seed 2 weeks later and is ready to either be transplanted outside, or it's starting now to mature as the other one is fizzling out, so that I always have food. Last year, I didn't quite have as many successful transplants from my starting from seed as I would have liked. And that's a whole nother story for a different day. But I also did not really succession plant. So once some things were done, or it had transplant shock and it died, or whatever, I had a lot of gaps in my garden. So planting more densely when it comes to flowers, but then also having more phased starting vegetables for my annuals will help my garden continue and have fewer gaps as the growing season goes along. So I'm going to do a better job of planning that and executing this year. Okay. And the last thing that is a goal for my growing seasons this year is I want to try my hand at winter sowing. So if you guys have not seen what that is, it's basically, actually, I can tell you who's done it. Miss Renee over at Renee's Garden actually just did a couple of videos of her doing some winter sowing herbs for her garden. So I want to try my hand at some winter sowing and see where it gets me. I'm not positive about placement, like where I can put them in my garden right now. But like I said, I still want to try it. I want to see if I can be successful at it, because if I can start more plants outside and not have so much soil indoors, I'm going to do that. That way I don't have so many fungus gnats, or I don't have to worry about aphids from going in and out and tending my garden and things like that and then bringing them inside. So there's just less opportunity for pests in my home if I sow outdoors in a jug. So that is my last goal and intention for my 2022 growing season, other than, which I think is the biggest one, is continuing to learn how to preserve my harvest. And, I actually don't necessarily mean canning. One of my biggest goals in general for gardening is being able to have somewhat of a medicine cabinet right outside on my balcony. So having as many herbs and flowers and roots that I can harvest in order to make tinctures and infusions and dry herbs for teas and seasonings and things like that. So I'm excited for the potential of that and learning more about that, experimenting more with that. And just in general, learning more about how I can use my plants and what I grow in my garden to benefit my health. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please don't forget to leave me a thumbs up and comment below. Tell me what your intentions are and your goals are for this growing year in 2022. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next video. Bye!